Trigger warning because this video is going to discuss child sexual assault. There's a story out of Missouri of an 11-year-old girl who gave birth at home, and when authorities got involved, they found out that the teen she was living with alleged to have raped her over 100 times. Abortion advocates have been citing this story and demanding that pro-lifers defend this situation. But they leave out the part where the story happened in 2020, when abortion was still legal in Missouri. This little girl did not give birth because she had no access to abortion legally. She gave birth because her parents were looking the other way on an incredibly abusive situation, and they only even got caught when there was an actual baby born for authorities to be suspicious about. This story is a good example of the phenomenon where abortion advocates will point to different ills of society, like specific cases of child abuse or of sexual assault, or poverty, or foster care, or children living with difficult disabilities, and then they imply that abortion would solve all of these problems. It doesn't matter if, for example, in a case of child abuse, there was no indication that the parents originally wanted to get an abortion and couldn't, or in the case of this 11-year-old girl, there was no indication that her parents tried to get her an abortion and couldn't, or in the case of children living with disabilities, they are happy with their lives and don't wish that they had been aborted, and their parents love them and don't wish that they had aborted them. None of that matters. Abortion advocates will still use their stories not to advocate for better resources and support and circumstances for the people involved, but to advocate for abortion. The unspoken assumptions to this mentality are, one, that abortion is a cure-all, and anyone who isn't on board with abortion as the answer to all of these problems must not care about people suffering. The second assumption, of course, is that abortion does not involve the significant controversy of killing valuable human beings, and therefore that couldn't possibly be a factor in people being hesitant to offer abortion as a solution to all of these different problems. To the extent people raise these stories because they sincerely want to know if those of us who oppose abortion care about children being raped and getting pregnant, yes, we care about that. Nobody wants to see an 11-year-old have to give birth. But you're also pretty glib about 11-year-olds getting abortions. The assumption that that wouldn't also be traumatic is a huge assumption. And you can talk to people who gave birth at 11, 12, 13 years old who don't wish they'd gotten abortions. As to the question of whether abortion should be legal in these cases, you'll find that people who are opposed to abortion are pretty split on that. Pro-life activists are pretty likely to say it should still be illegal because the child she is pregnant with is also a valuable human being who shouldn't be killed. But pro-life people in general, who aren't necessarily activists, are much more likely to be hesitant about this kind of situation. They see a genuine conflict between the child who is pregnant and the child she is pregnant with. And in this case, bodily rights really do come into play, unlike elective abortion, where the bodily rights argument is kind of ridiculous. We know that most people who bring up these situations aren't genuinely asking, they're just trying to use this girl's trauma as their gotcha. But to anyone who brings up these cases because they genuinely want to know what pro-life people think about this kind of situation, we have a bunch of essays hosted on this page.